Purple Eagles Weekly is brought to you by Ad Pro Sports Elite Team Gear, Wendy's Old Fashioned Hamburgers, Seat Baldo Ford in Niagara Falls, Crown Plaza Hotel Niagara Falls, the official hotel of Niagara Athletics, Rainbow Transportation, the official motor carrier of Niagara Athletics, and by Pepsi.
Good evening and welcome to Purple Eagles Weekly, another season, the 2011 campaign here on Time Warner Cable Sports Net. I'm Jeremy White, back with you for another season to chronicle all that's going on in Niagara Athletics. And we've got a big show to kick off the season. We'll check in with Niagara basketball, talk to head coach Joe Mihalich of the men's basketball team, and also spend some time with Niagara men's hockey coach Dave Burkholder, break down some plays and let you know how the men's hockey team's been doing so far this season. But we start off tonight with women's hockey and a return guest, Niagara women's hockey coach Chris MacKenzie and junior defenseman Erica Owczarczak. I did it wrong. I botched the name.
It's okay.
Erica Owczarczak. Thank you.
There you
get
go.
it all the time, though.
Yeah.
But take us through where you are. You came here last season, so from last year to this year, what's changed for Niagara women's hockey, and where are you right now?
Well, I think we're in a very good place. We've, talking about last year, we were picked fifth in our conference. We ended up finishing second place, made the semifinals of our conference tournament, ended up beating number 1 Mercyhurst and number 6 Cornell. Both were Frozen Four finalists. And this year, with a youth movement, I believe 70% of our team's freshmen and sophomores. We started off a little slow, but we've been competitive every weekend, with the exception of 2 this entire season. And last weekend we had a sweep of Wayne State. So we're moving in the right direction, and our goal is to win the CHA championship come March.
So then the other 30% would be Erica. You're
Yes.
a junior, so what's it like to be a veteran when there are so many underclassmen on the team?
It's kind of hard, difficult stepping up, finally realizing that you're a junior or I'm a junior and I have to take a leadership role on the team and kind of show the underclassmen that they're a little nervous sometimes, but it's okay, just have fun with it and kind of show them what they need to do around the rink, and they need to do their job just like everyone else.
And a big weekend coming up against Syracuse, not just because of the games, but because of the event that's going on. It's going to be another edition of Pink the Rink, which we talked about last year. So refresh our memories. What is Pink the Rink?
Well, it's a fundraiser for breast cancer, and it's a league-wide initiative. Every team does it, and we're doing our part this weekend. And we play Syracuse, I believe. You're familiar with Syracuse?
Yes.
Is that true?
Yes.
Okay, that's good. And they're a bit of a rival for us, and it'll be a big game. Last year, for example, we raised $5,000 and had a crowd of 800 people. It's our biggest event of the year, and we really try to, we're trying to build on that this Saturday at 2 p.m.
Erica, what's it mean for the players to be a part of this?
It's fun just coming together as a team, trying to help fundraise for this. It's for a good cause, and the game is always so much fun. We normally get a big turnout, and then we have the skate after. It's a Girl Scout night, so it's always fun, interacting with all the fans and signing autographs, kind of like being a professional hockey player for a night.
And you guys do something special with the jerseys, too?
Yeah, we the players are responsible to sell their jerseys, and that's kind of part of the fundraising initiative. Erica's done a great job of kind of bringing awareness to local groups, U18, U16, U14, U12 hockey teams for girls, and just really working this whole time. She's actually organized us working tomorrow night at the Sabres game, the 50-50 raffle. We're going to help fundraise through that too.
So it's Saturday at 2 o'clock.
Yep.
What can fans expect from the actual game? And is there anything else that goes on besides the actual, obviously you've got a hockey game and you've got a fundraiser. What would you expect in terms of the fundraising goals, and what can people do to get
Well, I really couldn't tell you where we're at right now. I think we're actually in better shape. Our goal would be to raise a minimum of $5,000 or more. And I think with the ticket sales, we could talk to Jim Herman about that and maybe get him up here later, find out where we're at there.
All right, well, it's Saturday at 2 o'clock. It's the Pink the Rink event against Syracuse. Let's talk about goals for the season going forward, because you've got a weekend where you've got goals in terms of fundraising. How about for the hockey team? You mentioned the CHA championship. How realistic a goal does that look right now, and what are some of the bright spots in your season that have shown you that that's something you can achieve?
Well, we've beat Mercyhurst already once this year. They're the perennial powerhouse in our league. They're currently in first place. Syracuse is currently in second place. We're in third place. We have 2 games with Syracuse this weekend. We can make up ground there. With a young team, what I've seen with our team is progress every weekend, and we're learning lessons, sometimes the hard way, but we're learning lessons and getting better every weekend. And our goal all along was to win the CHA championship come March 6th.
All right. Best of luck to you this weekend, raising funds and going up against Syracuse in the CHA. It's a busy time of year for you.
Well,
we wish you the best of luck, of course, not only in games, but in raising money as well. So thank you for joining
so
us.
much.
Thank you.
Coming up next here on Purple Eagles Weekly, we'll check in with the men's basketball team. They're on the road, so we went on the road and caught up with Niagara coach Joe Mihalich. It's coming up next here on Purple Eagles Weekly. Back to Purple Eagles Weekly here on Time Warner Cable Sportsnet. This segment brought to you by Rainbow Transportation, and for this segment, he hit the road. I had a chance to catch up with Niagara men's basketball coach Joe Mihalich from the NU campus earlier this week to check in with the basketball team. All right, Coach. Well, the record this season isn't the prettiest thing to look at, but I know that there are some things about this team that you are optimistic about, looking towards the future and where this program is going. What's it like to coach this team, not only for this year, but you have so many young players that you're probably coaching 2 years at a time, but you might actually do that all the time, to be honest, right?
Well, one of my responses to what you just said was that years like this, you don't like them. It's a different type of enjoyment. But and this may be a little cliche, but it makes you a better coach. It really does, because you're going to work even harder. I mean, this is a profession. You don't get rewarded for working hard. You just don't. Whether it's recruiting, you can, work like crazy to get a recruit. You might decide to go somewhere else. But it's the same with the practice and practice planning and player development. We've worked harder than we've ever worked before, but the record doesn't show it. Now, what we hope is that in the years to come, and hopefully games to come, that our record will start to show it.
A lot of times people will talk about when players make a jump from one level to the other, learning what it takes to win at that next level. And you've got the 37th youngest team in the nation. This team's very young. You have a lot of young guys that play pretty good minutes. So is that real, learning to win at a new level once you make a jump from high school to college?
Well, it's a big adjustment. It really is a big adjustment. You're not just learning to win, but you're learning on the job. I've said that before, too, that these guys are going to learn on the job. They're learning the hard way, too. I mean, they're playing against guys that have experience. They're playing against older guys. They're playing against guys that have been doing this more than they've been doing it. And, in fairness to them, it's, I brought the 5 freshmen the other day, and I said, listen, I don't tell you guys this enough, but this is not your fault. It really, and it isn't. It's not their fault, this whole situation. It's a number of things that probably too many to mention, but it's not their fault. And they've had some good moments. They need to get better, and I told them this. But they work real hard. I really like this freshman class.
And you're mentioning, of course, Skylar Jones, Marvin Jordan, Antoine Mason, Malcolm Lemons, and Joe Thomas. So you've got a group of 5 freshmen that, do you envision them growing together? Are they close? Is this a good group of guys that you really see good things for?
They are. They're a really good group of guys. I tell them sometimes they're too nice a bunch of guys, but they're a good bunch of guys, and they want to get better, and they're going to. Their best years are ahead of them. They've been thrown into the fire, but their best years are ahead of them. They all have some really good qualities. Marvin Jordan can really shoot it. He can really score it. Skylar Jones can shoot. He's athletic. Malcolm Lemons is good at everything. We're trying to get him even better at the things that he does. Then Antoine Mason's been hurt. He's shown that he can really score the basketball. He could have been our leading scorer this year. So we really missed that because we're having trouble putting points on the board. And he has a toughness to him that we missed too. And then Joe Thomas has a real bright future. It's today, as we're doing this practice, as we're doing this show, we're coming off a practice where he might have been the best player on the floor. So we're excited about these 5 freshmen.
Well, Antoine Mason specifically, he's the son of Anthony Mason, former NBA player. What's it like to have had him around? I wonder how much that means to you and what it means to the other guys on the team as well, because you've got NBA blood in the locker room, and that's pretty big.
Yeah, it is, and it's fun to kind of reference him every once in a while. Like I'd say something like, "Hey, Antoine, your dad wouldn't he wouldn't allow this to happen, or your dad would do this." And you try not to do that too much, though, just because you want Antoine to be Antoine, not anybody else. But it's kind of neat to have him around, be part of the program.
How about your senior leadership? Because Anthony Mason had a big night a couple days ago at the Gallagher Center, huge night, 30 points. How much of a role does he play in kind of tutoring those younger players? Because as freshmen, you come in, you look up to your coach, and you look up to the veteran players as well, and Nelson's one of those guys.
He's a special guy, and my heart aches for him that his senior year isn't one like we've had the last 4 years where we're winning 22 games a year. It really does. I get sad when I think about that because he deserves better. Special guy. He's about to rewrite the record book. He's closing in on 1,000 points. He could break the all-time assist record. I think he's got to average almost 5 assists a game the rest of the way, but that's doable. But a special guy. You know, at the beginning of the year, Jeremy, we were at our MAC Media Day, and all the coaches were trotting up there, and they were talking about what great leaders they had. Oh, what a great leader he is. Or they talked about leadership and being concerned about leadership. And when it was my turn to go up there, I said, I'm not worried about having a great leader because we have one. I'm worried about people following him. I'm worried about people realizing, you know what? I got to be like Anthony Nelson. And we haven't done a good enough job with that. It's not just the freshmen, but the other guys on the team of realizing, you know what? All I got to do is what this guy's doing right here. Do what Anthony Nelson's doing. His work ethic, his emotion, his enthusiasm, his passion for the game, his intellectual, thoughts about the game. If there's an area I've been a little disappointed in, it's that the 11 other guys didn't follow him because we have a great leader.
How much has he embraced that role? You say it's not the kind of year maybe he would have wanted in his senior year, but in terms of becoming, college is part of being in college is you learn to become a man. Right. And basketball does that too. So how much is he embracing at least that maybe it's not 22 wins, but he's a leader and he is someone that 11 other guys are looking at.
Yeah, he's accepted that. He's embraced that. I think he's done a great job with it. Now, he gets frustrated too because he feels like sometimes his actions and words go on deaf ears. But, as I've said to him, you and I, we've got to keep plugging away here.
Well, going forward, you talked about the 5 freshmen and what they mean. What does the future of Niagara basketball look like? We've seen teams in the past, whether it was Bilal Ben, Rob Garrison, Tyrone Lewis, and Demetrius Williamson. That was a class. So these 5 freshmen, you thinking that the future is as bright as the past has been?
Well, I mean, that's the hope. That's the hope. And, of course, we got to fill in with some other people, too. We signed 2 guys earlier we're really excited about, Wanye Green and Amin Tanksley, both very good players. So we're thinking that they can give us a boost too. And everybody has to keep getting better. I mean, if our freshmen continue to improve, I think that can be a special class.
And you said this is the kind of year that makes you a better coach. So how are you a better coach?
Well, you analyze more, you try more things, you learn more. And all these things, like I said, they've made me a better coach. Again, it doesn't show, but it reminds you how important all the little things are, but also the big things. And this might sound a little corny, but it's not just a game of basketball; it's a game of life too. And our kids have to learn that. I mean, it's been a year where there's been some adversity. And as I said to the team the other day, I said, look, we're all kind of in a state of shock. We're not used to this. We're not dealing with this well. And in your lifetime, you're going to deal with adversity, and hopefully not too much adversity, but you will. How are you going to handle it? And, as I said, those are little things that make you a better coach when you realize that your job is not just to help these guys learn how to pass and shoot and dribble, but to deal with tough times.
As Niagara head coach Joe Mihalich of the basketball team, and we'll have to see how the adversity plays into upcoming seasons with this young team. Coming up next on Purple Eagles Weekly, we check in with the men's hockey team doing very well in Atlantic hockey. Dave Burkholder joins me, the head coach, next. And this segment brought to you by Crowne Plaza Niagara Falls, the place to meet. It's our Meet the Coach segment, and we'll spend it with Niagara men's hockey coach Dave Burkholder here on Purple Eagles Weekly. And Coach, we meet again. We see a lot of one another, but that's all right. Let's talk about where your team is right now for our viewers. It's been a very good season, and I wonder how much of a surprise that is for you, just how good it's gone so far.
Yeah, surprise is probably a good word. There was so much uncertainty coming into this year with the new league. Coming from College Hockey America, our last 10 season, move into Atlantic Hockey where there's 12 teams. A lot of the 12 we have never played in our history. So we didn't know where we were going to fit into the league and just how it was going to be when you play so many league games. So it's been refreshing. It's been fun. It's a great league for us. And as you mentioned, I kind of like when you look at the standings, we're up top battling for first place with 12 to go. We just got through a 5-game road trip, which is not easy, and 12 to go, 6 at home and 6 on the road, so we're excited.
And one of the things coming into the season I asked you what was the one thing you didn't quite know about? And you said you weren't sure where the scoring was going to come from. And it's coming from all over the place, particularly that top line. You're one of the highest scoring teams in college hockey, and your top line with Paul Zanette and Brian Haychick has been cashing in all season long.
What a story. Both players come into their senior years with 50 career points, which is a good career. That's a good college hockey career. You know, probably on pace for 70, 75 points. You call it a career, and you know, you'll be remembered at Niagara for a long, long time. You always hope that your seniors have their best years their last year. And what Paul and Brian are doing for our club this year and just for Niagara hockey is an unbelievable story. They could be 100-point guys. They're on pace for over 50 points this year and lead the nation in a ton of categories. But to be sitting here with 12 to go, 18 goals each, 13 assists each, have been roommates since day one, have played together in lesser roles. Coming up, you know, as a freshman, they were our penalty killers, first over the boards. They still do that for us. But they've played behind some big-time offensive players over the course of their career, so they haven't had to have the spotlight. So to show up this year and say, okay, guys, you know, our season rests in your hands, and to do what they're doing has been a remarkable story.
And the race for the conference tournament, it's not just you get in and everybody's in. It matters where you are. You want to be in the top 2 in your pod because that's a first-round bye. So the race is really on, and every game from this point forward is really important.
That's what's been new to us. We haven't had that experience as a team, and we're a young team. Some nights, you know, we're dressing as many as 15 underclassmen, but even our senior class hasn't been through the rigors of a league where every point is unbelievable. Just the way the playoff format is, 12 teams, everyone makes it, and then they cut it back every weekend. It takes 3 weekends to get through through the NCAA series. We're used to playing 1 game and you're out. So just the intensity and the magnitude of every league game has been new for us, but I think guys are catching on and realizing that it's the old cliche in college athletics, you can't afford a night off, but certainly in Atlantic hockey, you can't.
Well, this weekend it'll be Sacred Heart at Dwyer Arena, and I know Saturday the post-game skate with the players, which is obviously a very popular thing, so that's this weekend at Dwyer Arena. We'll come back, we'll break down the power play. Special teams have been big for you this year. We'll get to the telestrator next on Purple Eagles Weekly. Back here on Purple Eagles Weekly on Time Warner Cable Sportsnet, Jeremy White with Dave Burkholder, Niagara men's hockey coach. We're going to get to the telestrator, coach, because we want to look at the power play. It's been something that's been very effective for you all season, power play and penalty kill. So we have a game here against UConn and a power play goal. Take us through it.
Well, I think the key to any power play, first and foremost, is getting in zone. And, you know, we preach not to dump it in. We have 6 on the ice. They have 5, so you want to outwork them or exclude the goalies 5 versus 4. So you always want to outwork them. Okay, you can roll it from here. So we've run our breakout. You can stop it there, please. That's a defenseman, CJ Chartrand, which is one of our fastest players. And he has the green light to rush it. So if he's not contested, we're preaching, you know what, that's your lane, get it in zone. Hopefully we don't have to dump the puck if they don't contest him at our blue line. Okay, you can roll it. You can see a little chip and go there, beats their first defender. Pause it there. And now this is a great job by CJ. He's done the job for us. He's got it in zone. Now he puts, you know, he's got a defender on him, turns his back, protects the puck. Now he needs some help. He's going to wait for some puck support. Giancarlo does a good job. He's our first forward in zone. He'll come in and join that scrum and help CJ out. So we always want to outnumber our opponents on a loose puck. Giancarlo comes in, helps out, wins a puck. The goal scorer in the play is number 10, Scott Arnold. He's our net front guy in which we run a box and one. His job is to get to the top of the crease once we get possession, which you'll see he does. He gets to the top of the crease. His job is to screen the goalie. We can roll it and see how Giancarlo helps on this loose puck. Great. Pause it. Okay, this is now our box and one. We preach. This is the bottom. We want to go from the bottom out to the top, catch their guys in rotation. That's how you get teams out of position when you're running a power play. So we go from bottom to top. Roll it, please. There's Giancarlo, throws it out to the point. Pause it. They actually do a really good job. They've got back into their box, if you will, on the kill. This defender's done a really good job of fronting Matt Williams. Again, I mentioned Scott Arnold's job is to take the goalie's eyes away. Okay, roll it. Our defenseman, Matt Williams, pause it. This is a freshman. He makes a nice little juke. We call that dribbling and shoot. You can see he's got his head up. He's actually lost his defender, ends up taking a quick shot. It's not how hard, it's just getting to the top of the crease. And Scott Arnold does a great job from there. Roll it, please. Just an easy tip from there. You know, we broke down our power play goals. 80% of our goals are coming off shots just like that from the point that they're either tipped or we score on a rebound. Again, just a great shot with his head up. Scott Arnold gives it a nice tip. Looks like a real easy power play goal, but a lot had to happen for that to go in.
So just how you drew it up, exactly.
Well, I don't know. You can see Scott Arnold does a great job in front. The goalie has no idea where the puck is, and that ended up being a big goal for us. We ended up winning that game in overtime.
Well, special teams and goaltending, before we wrap the show, those are two things you always tell me will win you hockey games. Your special teams have been great. And goaltending, it seems like you may have found a little bit of a more stable thing than before.
We're really excited where we are in net. Chris Noonan, who's a junior, had a great year. Didn't play as a freshman last year. Some building blocks. I think he's come a long way. He's on a 2-0 run. He beat Colgate and won this past weekend. And of course, Cody Campbell's been the news lately. It's a goaltender that we brought in at the Christmas break due to an injury with Carson Chubak, who went down with a season-ending knee surgery. And Cody's come in and he's 2-1 in his first 3 games, and his numbers are really good. His goals against average is good, and his save percentage is exactly where it should be. So we're excited to finish the year with a 1-2 punch.
Well, this weekend against Sacred Heart, more Atlantic hockey action. You can get to Dwyer. It's going to be a race for one of those top 2 spots. Coach, thanks for taking the time. Best of luck heading towards the conference tournament. That'll do it for Purple Eagles Weekly. Tune in all season long here on the Niagara Sports Network and on Time Warner Cable Sportsnet. Good night.